All right, let's play a little hindsight, Cece. You think the Lakers would have made the playoffs if it weren't for LeBron's injury?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think they would have made the playoff. I think it's fair to say, I don't think it's an excuse, but it's not only LeBron, but the Rondo thing. You can't have both of those guys out of the organization because there are a lot of things that not on the stat sheet, but the overall leadership and what these younger players need, someone to stabilize the ship. You can't have both of them injured because the effect from a leadership standpoint, when you get injured in sports, you lose a lot of your leadership. Like Kevin Durant, he couldn't lead last night. Professional athletes do not listen to guys that are hurt. Like, you lose that feel. We saw that with Nick Foles, man. What was Carson Wentz doing? Cheering. Like, you lose your leadership because you're not here to help us. And it's amazing. It's like you're on a different team when you're hurt compared to when you're in the flow of things, even if you're injured and still playing. So, yes, I think it's fair to say Christmas night, they beat Golden State. I mean, tremendous win. LeBron goes down.
Nobody, sorry to interrupt, just real quick. On Christmas night, that was when the Lakers were still, if you fall down, stay down till your teammates get there to pick you up. Nobody thought the veterans and the young players were disconnected. Like, LeBron said it there. He said, now maybe it's a little revisionist history, but he said, I thought I was connecting with the young guys. I thought, and then he was gone. They lost. The Anthony Davis thing happened. He, I think, then failed to reconnect with the young guys, and it all went askew. But on Christmas night, nobody thought. Even Chris Mannix had come around.
Where were they? They were in fourth place in the West?
They were in fourth place in the West, and I know it was real tight, fourth to 8th. But they were there. But they were right there, and they were whooping the Warriors.
But then after that, and I like the fact, too, LeBron, he's starting to get a little more insight. He slipped a couple of times. I'm going to say slipped because he didn't say I got injured. He said I tore my groin. Steph strained his groin, missed 11 games. LeBron tore his groin. He hadn't been saying that. He said he hurt his groin, but when you tear your groin, you could see when he came back, he was not at the weight that we saw him on Christmas night. You could see he didn't have the cardio, didn't have the wind, didn't have the stamina. When he went to the button to push it, Jenna, you were like, oh man, he doesn't have it. He didn't have LeBron activation mode. So all those things are accurate. But if LeBron James is healthy, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. Now, if he just has his normal season, we're going to give him 5 or 6 games where he can take off for load management, all those types of things. But if he doesn't miss those 18 games, the Lakers are going to be in the playoffs next.
And listen, all of that's true. And, of course, that was the key moment. Now, was it salvageable when he came back? Maybe. If Anthony Davis never demands a trade and the team stays more connected, is it salvageable despite the injury? Yeah, probably. If Luke Walton does a better job while LeBron's out, is it salvageable? Yeah, I think it is. If they don't have, you have a list in front of you of awful losses during the injury and post-injury. Yeah, it's probably, but yeah, of course, the key moment's the injury. But here's the thing. You guys know this about me, sports or otherwise, I'm a history buff. This is how the NBA works. It is moments in time that are fork in the road. For LeBron, Skip brings up all the time, and he's not wrong in some regard. The Ray Allen shot. If Ray Allen misses that shot, LeBron doesn't have a chance to go 37-12 in Game 7, and the Heat blueprint is considered a failure. On the flip side, the game we were at, after the Cavs won their first title, if Kyle Korver hits his shot, Zach Lowe just wrote a whole story about this, the great NBA Finals we missed out on, because Kyrie was playing at his best level. LeBron's like, what would the narrative have been if Korver makes that shot? If the Cavs beat the Warriors with Durant, then you're on my side on the GOAT
And
stuff.
my guy, MJ, I was there for a bunch of them. There was a bunch of times he passed to guys wide open, and they knocked down shots. That being Steve Kerr, that being John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Hodges, man. They knocked down shots. So those were shots, too, that changed the narrative.
We're in New York City. How differently do people remember Patrick Ewing if John Stark's shot in Game 6 isn't blocked by Hakeem and they win that title? How differently do we remember Chris Webber and those Kings teams if Peja does an airball to 3 in the corner in Game 7 of the 0-2 Western Conference Finals? Like, this is what basketball is. It is moments in time that we build narratives around one, I don't want to say random, but one incident. And LeBron's incident was he slipped on the floor and tore his groin. And now it's, wow, you missed the playoffs in your prime? Are you going to get a free agent? How good of a leader are you? Or should the Lakers trade you? Hey, listen, it's not unfair.
Right.
That is how basketball works. That's how, by the way, football, like what is the narrative on those Bills teams? If Norwood makes the first field goal in the first Super Bowl. Like, this is just how sports are.
So existential of you this
Well, no,
morning.
but I mean, that's just how it is. Like, I don't,
you're
nobody
right.
should pity
Sliding
LeBron
doors.
or the Lakers. Like,
You're right.
that's what happens. And
narratives are created by small, tiny things or decisions or moments.
And last point, we never think about the things that didn't happen. How many times in LeBron's career did he avoid the wet spot? How many times could he have torn his groin? Where those have been championship seasons?
Right.
This one could be a championship season either way. So, like, that's just what happens. Now, next year, don't slip on the damn wet spot. Make the playoffs. See what happens.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.